Hey, how's it going, guys? Peyton Nix with Evil Duelist again. Finally got a hold of Casey, show off his list and how he did, and thoughts about the day and etc. So I'm here with Casey now. Casey, say hello.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Not too bad. Yourself?
I'm okay. Missing playing the game. I can't play this weekend.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
Daughter's
Um,
birthday.
yeah, more important. All right, we'll just go through the list here. Talk about it as we go. 3 Fell Golem, 1. Only 1 drop worth playing really in dark. 3 Devourment,
Auto
necessary.
include.
Yeah. 2 Avarice.
Greatest card in the deck, in my opinion. Really strong. Needs to be three.
That's fair. 2 Allurement.
I like that number. I don't. I don't know if it's as good as it was. There were a lot of aggro decks trying to do something early, and everybody was scared of Shard Beast. But now it's coming down in numbers in like all lists, and I think two's still right.
2 Guardhound. You said you liked it
He,
at 2.
yeah, he's strong.
Demon of the Evil Eye.
I'm still iffy on the card. I like it. I think I like Golem of Vengeance better. In the future, I want to play either two Evil Eye or one Evil Eye and one Vengeance. But it was a good card. It's just I haven't really had enough time with it to have a real opinion.
Same for me, really. Rudy.
Worst
Said,
card in the deck.
yeah, just
I hate
coming
it.
out.
Yeah, it just doesn't do anything. It doesn't have any real presence. All it does is beg for a removal spell, which it is what it is.
Acid Monger.
He's
Did
a
put in the
MVP.
work.
Yeah, and I know we've talked before about having the Ancient Serpent's Breath play, but I just can't stress enough how sweet that is. Just using him as removal for their hidden lab, and then being able to draw a card and effectively remove a creature, mess up their draw next turn, and have the removal again next turn.
Right, maybe even the same turn, depending on where you're at in the game.
Oh, absolutely.
2 Watchwoman. Pretty standard in like every deck, unless like it's an aggro deck.
Yep, she's a staple. I mean, she's a
Even in
removal spell
aggro,
that can
she's
break towers.
right. Yeah, I mean, I won 2 matches just from top decking her. Like she put in the work for me. Uh, 1 Juggernaut. You said you're gonna bump this up, I believe.
Yeah, he's a really good card, and in my initial testing, I wasn't sure about him because the problem with running 5 drops with cards like Mayu is Mayu costs 6, and you really want to kind of loop her every turn. So you can't effectively play Mayu and a Juggernaut in the same turn.
Right.
That was my thought process, but now that I've put it into practice, I realized that I just love having Juggernaut on the board because some decks just can't deal with him.
Want to see him more.
Yep.
Mayu. Water Sylphia.
Yeah. Really strong.
uh, what? Go through the loops you were talking about with Watchwoman or whatever. There's a loop.
Okay. It's kind of a convoluted loop, and it is definitely like in game you can get it, but it forces your opponent to more or less not make a play, or they get stuck in a loop. And what is happening is you have Silver Watchwoman and Mayu, and you play the Silver Watchwoman and attack a tower, preferably missing the black tower, obviously. But it allows you to play Mayu, get a title rush. You can shard drain for title rush, put a unit they control on top of their deck, and then title rush both your Mayu and your Silver Watchwoman for next turn if you need to.
So you just have that play every single turn.
It effectively just keeps stacking the top of your opponent's deck the same, and it allows you to have a quickness Watchwoman along with Mayu that can just turn into pretty well anything.
Just every turn. Yeah, that seems really strong. 2 Deathstrike. We've
It,
talked
it,
about it.
it's a good card. It's just
It's
as a
hard to
three
fit
of
3.
this, you're never using it as removal turn two. Like it's
Right.
just you can, I guess, but it just doesn't happen enough to call it your turn two removal. So I just think like Yami is better in that situation, and you don't even want to do it then.
Speaking of
Uh,
Yami, 3 of for
yeah,
sure.
the game's grindy enough where I feel like the two and three uh, cost removal is just not super necessary, and you're almost better off just with cards like Devourment trying to clog the board until you can start resolving things like Poison Strike or any other removal spells.
Moving on to Poisonous Strike. One of you said you like that card a lot.
I do. In almost every one of my matches, I ended up sideboarding in the second one, uh, and most of the time that was the only sideboard change that I made for game two. Is I would take out one delayed poison for one poison strike.
Returning Shadows. No one's really playing this card.
It's sweet, man. It's the fourth Yami in the deck.
Right.
Uh, it
That can
opens you
get
up a bit.
Mayu.
Yeah, it makes some cool plays like you would do with Yami. Like you can chain your avarice or your allurement. It can get back your evil eye and get back your Mayu. Mayu can be used to create like a safety net by targeting shadows first and putting it in your hand and casting something different. It's just a really versatile card in the deck. I wouldn't play it as more than a one of, and I mean I might be
But
totally
you
wrong
liked
on the
having
card,
it.
but it always feels sweet. It's just really good.
2 Serpent's Breath. Would probably play 3 if you could play more than 8, I'd assume.
Yeah, I mean
It's
it's a good
good bounce
card, but
spell. Cheap.
you don't want to use it for the same purpose as like Tidal Rush, where you're actually using it as removal, because it doesn't feel nearly as good when you're letting them draw a card.
Right.
So most of the time, you're trying to use the first mode on something you control, and then abuse the second mode. And it's really abuse if you have Mayu, because you're obviously putting two things on top of their deck.
Right. Mizu said you were going to cut that for the second
Yeah,
Juggernaut.
it just wasn't good for me. And again, I just don't feel like the cheap removals necessary right now. That could
Uh,
change with new cards. I'm not sure though.
right. 2 Tidal Rush.
Yeah, that card is incredible.
Yeah. What was it you said? You play 6?
I would play six if I could, but I mean, not having the limited deck space, and that's kind of the next card, Chronostasis. That's kind of where it comes in too. Is Chronostasis is just a card I feel is necessary for more of a situational time, and Tidal Rush is just always good. Like I can use it as removal. I can use it to loop arrive triggers. It just does everything. It
Right.
triggers Mayu, so you get more value. It draws a card, so it replaces itself. It's just, in my opinion, it's like the best blue card. That should be the Omega Magic.
3 Hidden Lab. Busted.
Yeah.
Insane card. 3 Poison. Said you'd cut it for a Poisonous Strike. Did it
Um,
underperform for you as well?
it did, and I was actually looking through the list, and what I actually ended up doing is cutting the third delayed poison, so I went to two. I stayed at one poison strike, and a card I'm trying right now is the Soul Transfer.
Soul Transfer. That's right. You said
Yeah,
something about that.
and the reason I'm trying that is even though it's like slow removal, like you have to play it on your turn, it's another one of those one ofs that just work really well with Mayu.
Right.
But it also gives you some cool plays in the mirror where you can remove like their 3 and 4 drops and you're getting value out, because I mean you're running devourments and your own 3 drops, so I mean you always have something.
Right.
And I'm testing it, and it feels really good whenever you're able to play it multiple times off of May.
1 Philosopher's Stone.
Terrible card, hate it.
Underwhelming. But it's
I
really
mean,
fucking good in Ergon, I'd say. But
when it's good, it's good,
right.
but when it's bad, it's almost dead. And I know you know the play that I'm going to talk about within the finals, and it was a little bit of cockiness and arrogance on my part, but I was in a situation to where I was going to be able to, at his draw step, make him discard his only card that he drew. So I paid two, and I played Philosopher's Stone without checking my discard pile. And the game had went super long. I just didn't draw in any golems, and there was literally like one allurement in my discard pile. So I had to get a felt golem number one off of Philosopher's Stone. It was just terrible. Like,
Tragic.
yeah. That was a bad play on my part too, so it's not all the card's fault.
Yeah, it's just how that card is. You kind of just want to slam it and then assume you can get at least a 3-drop.
I mean, that's what the
Like
deck
that's
does, right?
right. That's what the card
You're
does too.
you're 100% right though with Ergon just being able to abuse that card better.
One statue.
I think that's standard now.
Right.
I mean, you can't reoccur stuff with Ergon, so you have to have another way to
Put back devourments or even just
devourments or
Mayu.
yep. Or even like Silver Watchwoman. So many matches come down to like who draws Silver Watchwoman at the end.
Yeah, I agree. Same, it happened to me so much as well. Uh, now to the shards. 5
Spice.
regular shard. Why you only got 5 regular shards? Shouldn't you have 6?
No
One
man.
Corona legendary shard, best one. One Zephyr crystal.
Super
Wait,
good.
you're playing air?
Yep. Yep. I'm playing an air card.
How was that card?
Going into it, my mindset was like the only draw to air for me was playing the Zephyr crystals.
Yeah.
And having three is better than one, obviously. But coming from Magic, I'm just used to playing like utility lands that come into play tapped, and it's not a big deal as long as you're getting value out of the land. So since the game's been out, it's something I've considered. But now that Hidden Lab is seeing so much play, and you have the Liam deck, so everything's playing augments. It's just for me, it's a must-have, at least in one of. I know some people are even playing two in certain lists now, but whenever I was talking about it, everybody would say that they've tested it, they wasn't sure about it, and they wouldn't try it. But now it seems like it's catching on a little, at least.
Did it put in the work?
Oh,
Was
it
it
did.
worth it? You
It
do it
did. Like,
again?
um, I know I've mentioned before how so many of the mirror matches between Kite and Fizzy turns into me having to try to combat their draw engines with my Fizzy. And this effectively allows us both to remove each other's hidden labs. And at the end of it, I'm just left with Fizzy, so I'm drawing more cards, and I end up coming out ahead in the late game.
Right. Yeah, that's good logic. I like it. I might try it out as well if I ever switch over to Fizzy.
Yeah, I've been trying some different lists of different colors, and it definitely seems blue complex is the best. Mostly because it's the cryptic crystal, in my opinion, is the second best, just because you're controlling your draw so much better.
Right. Plus with shard drain, you get to do it all the
Hmm.
time, every turn, every
Yeah,
time you shard drain.
late game, I'm setting up my draws and drawing an, so it's really good.
Normal towers, because the new ones aren't out yet. Are you gonna be playing any of the new ones?
I mean, the water one doesn't seem like terrible,
It's the one that
but
searches, right?
yeah, and this isn't a deck where I'm breaking early towers all the time. So that's one I'm considering. I'll play test it a little. And I know people love the darkness tower, the new darkness tower, but I love this one. I like being able to
Oh,
get the
me too.
information. I like being able to pick things. Sometimes like it puts them in a situation where they just don't want to break a tower because they run a chance of breaking darkness, and you can just like take their Sylvia then.
Yeah. All right. Going back through the list, what are the changes you said you'd make?
Um, as far as cards that I thought were underwhelming, Philosopher's Stone, Professor Rudy, I would drop one delayed poison and then Mizu. And I wanted more avarice, so I would go up to a third one of that. And I would right now I'm testing a vengeance, but that could very likely turn into another evil eye. They're both good cards. It just I think having the destroyer is actually a benefit. Uh, I'm trying a soul transfer right now, and adding a second juggernaut I think is necessary.
Right. Well, congrats on the invite.
You too, man.
Good job all day. I saw you were dominating, not just winning, dominating. Just had a rough finals time.
Yeah, I didn't drop a single game until the finals, and I lost finals in time, which, I mean, that's just how the game works. I made some misplays in the first game by playing my Philosopher's Stone into one golem, and I actually missed a Mayu trigger off of the Shard Drain, but
Oh,
I've been playing cards for
Oh,
like 10
you've been
hours.
playing all day, yeah.
Yeah, so
I
I was
remember
tired.
my first match at Top Cut. I ended up losing anyways, but I was after game 2, I was ready to just scoop it up and go home.
Yeah, it
I
was
was
a
like, I'll take
gauntlet.
a rainbow.
Yeah, it was fun though.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I had a blast. It was a good event. Shout outs to Short Swords and Boards. They
oh
put on a
yeah,
good
it
event.
was great. Yeah. Uh, well, thanks for your time. I'll have this up shortly. Uh,
All right,
uh,
I appreciate it.
Shout out to Evil Duelists. Yeah, we'll hit you with more content soon. Thanks.